So you've graduated and you've come out on top with a solid job offer at an investment bank or a consulting firm. Chances are your company will fire thousands of people by the end of the year. In this video, I'll share the best ways to ensure that you keep your job, rank top tier as a new grad, and set the foundation for a strong career ahead. Today I'm going to share 6 ways for you to not only smash or ace the first year at work, but also to ensure that you rank as a top tier analyst or associate, and also increase your chances of getting the largest share of the bonus pool that gets allocated to the juniors every single year. Make sure you smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and if you're in a hurry, you can skip around the video through the timestamps down below. Without any further ado, let's get straight into it. Everyone loves a new grad who is on it from day one, but also maintains it throughout the whole year. You get a lot of students or graduates that join the workforce and they are seriously dedicated and enthusiastic at the beginning, but then it kind of, reduces and goes downwards after a few months. You don't want to be that graduate. You want to be the one who maintains that consistency in your enthusiasm and your eagerness to learn throughout the working year, because typically when you get your bonus right at the end of the year or the beginning of the next year, the last few months before the bonus are critical to your review. So you don't want to perform well at the beginning of the year and then not at the end. So you want to carry that consistency through in order to increase your chances of getting promoted and increase your chances of getting a larger share of that bonus pool that we're going to talk about later on. One of the simplest ways to do this is keep up to date with current affairs. Know what's going on in the world. Make sure you're reading relevant topics and news articles such as the FT, The Economist, Bloomberg, etc, etc. Whatever is specific to your domain and your expertise. If you're in emerging markets, if you're in management consulting, if you're in mergers and acquisitions, whatever it is, make sure you're keeping up to date with what's relevant for the people in your business. Not only does doing this allow you to stand out as a graduate, but it allows you to participate in more conversations. If we weren't in lockdown, you'd be going up for coffees and going to the water cooler or the canteen here and there. You can have small conversations about relevant topics, or just when you bump into people. In this day and age, because we're in lockdown, when you're having Zoom meetings or small chit chat online before a meeting goes ahead, it's always good to kind of build rapport, show people you're keeping up to date. And so you want to be able to stay up to date and then use that to have small chit chat, have conversations with people to get to know you a bit more. You have to remember, you're going to be a new employee in this organization. When you go to uni at the beginning of first year, you know no one practically, and you have to learn the ropes from the get-go, right? You've got 3 years to kind of build your rep at the bottom of the food chain. So having these small impromptu conversations and being relevant, so keeping up to date, will allow you to stand out, and it allows people to remember you. Compare that with someone who has a conversation with a senior employee and the conversation has no substance. When the senior employee asks the new grad for their opinion and they don't really have an opinion about what's going on in that domain or area of expertise, it just looks bad for the graduate. In addition, when you're participating in both internal and external meetings, if you have an opinion, if you're up to date, it allows you to not just sit there and take notes, but you can participate here and there. So it's always a good thing to stay up to date and show an enthusiasm to learn and kind of soak things up as if you were a sponge. So we touched on eagerness to learn, showing people that you want to learn as much as you can. That's all great, but when you're doing this, you need to increase your knowledge. You're going to be working in a specific domain, and you need to not just stay up to date with what's going on in the markets or current affairs across the globe, but you need to become an expert in the niche that you're working in. So whatever that might be, you need to double down on that and increase your knowledge, your technical knowledge in that specific field. That is what's going to set you apart when it comes to your promotion or going up to the next level. So technical expertise is super important. If you line up all of the graduates in a graduate class, the ones that rank top tier are typically the most technically able graduates who combine that with, strong competencies, which we'll touch on in a bit. A good way to think about how technical should you be or how technical should you aim to be, think of someone that's one level above you, so a senior analyst or a senior associate. Try and be as technically knowledgeable as someone that's a year or a few years ahead of you. That's a good target to set because it allows you to aim high, and by aiming high, it increases your chances of ranking higher at the end of the year relative to the rest of your graduate class. If you really want to stand out on your graduate scheme, number one way to do so is to save your seniors time. This is so important and not many people do it. Yes, you want to produce high quality work, but every single person in the city, every single person that works for an investment bank, consulting firm, whatever it might be, they do not have enough time in the day to get all their work done. If you get given a task, under promise, over deliver. Say you're going to get it to them by Thursday, get it to them by Wednesday if you can. You want to under promise and over deliver to a high standard because it will impress people, and if you can save people time, they'll value you, they'll give you more work. And if you get more work from a specific individual and you keep keep delivering to a high standard, you're gonna be building a good bond with that person, but also they're gonna become a stakeholder. They're gonna back you when it comes time for everyone to decide, does this individual deserve a top tier ranking? So you wanna be delivering to a high standard and saving people time. A few easy ways to save people time is expand your network within the firm. If one of your seniors needs something worked on, you can operate on that, but leverage other resources within the firm. If you have good networks and relationships with internal employees across the divisions or across the different teams, you can use those to get your work done faster. You get that work done faster, get it to the senior person, and then everyone's happy. You save them time, you've built strong relationships with other people, you've broadened your network in the firm, and it just allows you to stand out, especially as a junior employee. So save seniors time, and that will help you when it comes to your rankings and your promotions and your bonuses. There's always a grad or an employee with a not so good or well-rounded reputation, and that's the last person you want to be. You don't want to be the grad with a bad reputation, someone that people can't trust or don't feel comfortable giving work to. You want to be the complete opposite of that. A simple way to develop your personal brand at work is to find someone in your company or in your office who you look up to or who you think of carries themselves very well, because individuals who carry themselves very well end up getting further in their careers and in life in general. It doesn't necessarily need to be someone at your company. It could be anyone in the world of work, right? Someone that you aspire to be like, or who you think is a good role model and that they carry themselves well. And then just try to emulate. You don't want to be that person, but try to model the best characteristics that they have and implement that into your own personal working style. You want to carry yourself in a way that exudes confidence but not arrogance. You want people to think, okay, this new hire is great, they get the work done, they are very presentable, they're well mannered, they know how to have a conversation, they know how to speak to different people in different teams. I'm confident to take them to meetings, I'm confident to give them work. I know if I'll give them work, they'll get it done to a high standard. They're a joy to be around, they're fun, they could hold a good conversation, blah, 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 blah. All of these things are great things to associate with your personal brand at work. Most people have outside interests, and most people like people who have lots of different outside interests, because it's not just like, oh, you go to work and you've got nothing going on in your life. So it's always good to kind of do things outside of work, whether it's a hobby, whether it's sports, anything and everything that is non-work related adds as a bonus, and it adds a bit of sprinkle to your personal brand. Okay, key competencies are vital, and the three main ones that I would say are vital for success for a graduate is attention to detail, communication skills, and analytical skills. So let's start with attention to detail. The number one role of a junior employee at an investment bank or a consulting firm is to make sure they're creating documents or work that is to a high level of detail that's going to get passed on to a client or to other parties within the organization. And so there is no room for error, especially in the worlds of banking and consulting, where there are tons of numbers, decimal places, values all over the place, as well as contracts being written up. You can't afford for your attention to detail to be below average. Everything needs to be extremely well written, well thought out, and no mistakes in any work that goes out to clients or gets passed around internally. So attention to detail is vital. Then you've got communication skills, writing, presenting, speaking. Are you a good communicator? This is vital because in your day-to-day work, you're gonna need to communicate with your team members. You're gonna need to communicate with different parts of the firm. You're gonna need to communicate with the client, right? And so writing skills, vital. Emails, you're gonna be writing lots of those. Presenting skills, essential. You're not only presenting yourself as a brand, as an employee in the workforce who needs to succeed and climb, but when you go to client meetings, when you go to pitches, when you're meeting different stakeholders inside and outside your organization, all very important. And then listening skills. When you're going to meetings and you're responsible for drawing up the notes, you need to be listening to the key points that are mentioned. You don't need to write every single thing that's going on in the meeting. You need to write down the key takeaways. What are the next steps? What are the follow-ups? What do you need to do when you go back to the office? What should your next move be in terms of progressing with that client? So all of these things are very important. So communication skills are once again very, very important for you to succeed as a junior in the world of work. Also, as a junior, you want to be posting people. What that means is updating your manager or your team what you're working on. Let them know, I'm working on this, I've got this, this, and this to do, and then I could work on that. If you don't let them know any of these things, no one will know what you're working on. And the culture in banking, consulting, if you don't shout about it, no one's going to know. And if no one knows, they're going to think you're not really doing much. So you've got to communicate, you've got to shout about the work that you're doing. It's hard to do, especially if you're an introvert, but it's one of those things that, you know, you've got to do it in order to get promoted or to move to the next stage or to rank higher as a junior. Analytical skills. Analysts at investment banks, associates at consulting firms, analytical skills are vital because you're going to do a lot of reading, you're going to do a lot of scanning through things, looking for key details, looking for key information. It's important for you to take some data, analyze it and see what it means. It's important for you to read different research reports and take the key points, analyze those, and then draw up a file that has the key points or the key lessons. It's important for you to take work from clients, analyze their situation, and then propose a strategy or propose some advice for them. So analytical skills are vital for any investment or consulting related role, and so that ties into one of the key competencies as well. Always remember, at the end of the year, especially at investment banks, all of the analysts are ranked among each other, and the top tier analysts, they get the largest bonus, and then it goes down from there. Similarly, in consulting firms, there's a bonus pool that gets allocated to different individuals. Naturally, in any industry where there's a bonus pool, your manager needs to decide how much bonus you get, and so a good measure to decide is see how other analysts have performed, rank everyone, and then give out bonuses accordingly. And so always keep that in mind. You want to aim to be the #1 analyst in your graduate class, or the #1 associate in your graduate class, and so it's important to always keep that at the back of your mind. And so one good piece of advice I could give you regarding this is to do the following. Know who your key stakeholders are internally. So the key decision makers, one is going to be your manager, and then it might be like a buddy or a mentor or other people that you work with who aren't necessarily in your direct team. These people will feed into your final review at the end of the year, and they will have an influence on how your overall performance comes out in your report. When it comes to promotion, you likely need to have a meeting with your manager and pitch yourself. So why should they promote you to the next level? Right from the get-go, make a file on Word document or PowerPoint presentation, whatever it might be, listing every single meeting or client deal that you focus on or work on. List them, include them in this file, and then include things like, what did you do? What was the result of this? How did you play a key role in this piece of business or in this project? Because when it comes to pitching yourself for promotion, it's good to have all of these different things and then pick the best ones and then use those to kind of build your case to pitch yourself for promotion. So it's always good to kind of note these things down throughout time, and then when you need it, they're all there, rather than scrambling at the last minute for different pieces of work that you worked on and then just not having a strong pitch for yourself when it comes to asking to be promoted to the next level. And then yeah, just aim to be the top graduate in your class. Don't forget, it is a competitive landscape. At the end of the year, the firm needs to fire lots of people in order to hire lots of people. New graduates need to get hired, experienced professionals need to get hired. The space for all of these hires doesn't come out of nowhere. The bottom 5% usually get fired, and so you want to keep that at the back of your mind and try to be the best performer in your year group. My next video is going to be out on Wednesday, and it's going to be on investment banking versus private equity. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss it. And in the meantime, if you want to learn even more about succeeding in the world of work, check out some of these videos. Thank you for staying to the end, and I will see you in the next video. Peace. Whew.